Wonderful. Okay, well, into the last stretch, everybody, of our Digital Health Symposium. Would like to welcome Linda Malek from Moses and Singer, who is actually going to be hosting a workshop right after this symposium. So I'd like to invite you, Linda, for this last interview before we wrap up and move over to the breakout rooms. So if I could just ask you to give us a bit of background about yourself, Linda, and what you are doing at Moses and Singer at the moment.
Thank you, Jerry, and nice to be here with everyone. At Moses and Singer, I lead the healthcare and life sciences practice here. I also lead the privacy and cybersecurity practice. In addition to being a lawyer in the healthcare space for many years, our firm has recently launched a consulting firm, MS Strategic Solutions, which is what you see here under my name. And in that capacity, what we have found with our clients is that beyond just the legal work that we do with them to help them figure out regulatory hurdles and transactional issues, they really need help with sort of on the ground operational issues. And so there are three main areas where we help our clients more in terms of the day-to-day operational strategic issues. One is with respect to clinical research compliance. The other is in the context of privacy and cybersecurity issues. And then the third is consulting with emerging life sciences companies that are trying to get ready for various rounds of investment. So they may be quite early stage, or they may be, in a Series A round already. And in all of those capacities, we do things like gap assessments, risk assessments. We help them understand what their shortcomings are, what they need to be aiming for, and try to help them, as they design whatever the product or service is that they're putting together to make sure that they have the best chance of success.
No, that's superb, Linda. No, I mean, look, the work that you guys are doing at the moment is great. I'm getting just a little bit of feedback from your microphone right now, Linda. I'm not sure if you're getting it as well, but you just double check that for me. I think you're coming in a little bit, just slightly scratchy, but really, really wonderful to be able to hear about the work that you guys are doing, having worked with so many different startups and innovators. I mean, in your opinion, Linda, having had this experience in this part of the industry, like, how do you feel like the emerging tech startups in the field right now are impacting that kind of final delivery of care? And, what is it like in particular that you look for when you choose to work with these organizations?
Well, we've been doing this, I've been doing this for a long time, and I think what's really exciting right now in terms of what I'm seeing is in the context of digital health in particular. There are challenges with respect to investors, because it's a longer runway for them. But at the same time, companies that can really show that they are making an impact in a particular area, whether it's in something related to genetics, or whether it's in something relevant to a particular disease state or a chronic condition. I think what I see as being most important is that the digital health companies that are looking to grow and advance really have to have a very strong sense of mission and really have to be very solid in terms of how they are able to both communicate and show evidence of what it is that they're doing. So the technology is interesting, the technology is very important, but really being able to have a solid sense of what the evidence is behind what you're trying to accomplish and how you convey that is, I think, critical.
No, I think that's really, I think that's a really, really good point, and also very responsible as a partner to be able, to really pick up on those kinds of things when deciding to work with particular organizations and particular startups and stuff. So you and I think a colleague of yours from Moses and Singer are going to be presenting a workshop this afternoon following this event. You're looking at strategies and compliance tools for advancing equity in digital health. What is it that made you guys come up with this workshop in the first place? What's the background to it? And what are you hoping that the startups will take away from it?
Well, in the last 2 years, really since the start of the pandemic, it's been very interesting because of the experience that we had during COVID with respect to people not necessarily having access to the same levels of information, people not necessarily having access to the same levels of treatment. Those issues of inequity have really come into strong focus and have spread far beyond just dealing with the pandemic and COVID issues. And so what we have seen is that regulatory bodies like the FDA, like the Federal Trade Commission, state entities, even Congress, are much more focused now on ensuring that from start to finish, from the design stage of a digital health solution through the clinical trial process, through any AI algorithms that are developed, really incorporate and are sensitive to the issue of diversity, which is important not just because it's the right thing to do, but is also very important for clinical outcomes to be accurate when you're doing drug development, for example. So that is sort of how we have come to this issue as being really important. And I personally have a very strong conviction about this because I think that it is, as I say, both important, but if you can show evidence that you have, for example, done clinical trials across a really broad spectrum of the population and diverse populations, then whatever you are trying to develop, whether it's a drug or a device, is going to be that much more solid and compelling in terms of what you're trying to get approval for from regulatory bodies. So that's really the universe of regulatory analysis in this area has become kind of laser focused on it, which I think is an important and good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And, I think, just by talking about all those different points, you've kind of given an idea to, what founders and startups should also keep in mind when they're looking to work with partners like yourself as well. Because it's often something that, you don't really, maybe you may not think about as a founder or an entrepreneur, but there's definitely much more, on the table that you need to really take into account, when developing these different solutions and stuff. But that's wonderful. And that really takes us up to pretty much the end of the symposium. So thank you, Linda. I'll let you get ready for the workshop that you and Jason are going to be putting on right after the symposium. And that's just a little taster of what Linda and Jason will be discussing and talking about. So thank you, Linda, for coming on, and really look forward to seeing your workshop in the next couple of minutes.
Thanks, Jerry, and we're looking forward to having a good interactive discussion on this topic. So we'll see everyone very soon.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. Okie dokie. All right, so that brings us pretty much to the very end of the symposium. I think I still have a few folks still on. If you are interested in both attending the workshop, which is a drop-in, drop-out workshop, as well as the breakout rooms for for further discussion and connection with some of the speakers and some of the attendees over a virtual meeting. That is going to be going on in the next couple of minutes. Ansley and Ayana should be putting those details in the chat. If you want to connect with any of the speakers of any of our wonderful presentations today and discussions, please feel free to look through the chat. And if you if you want to get a copy of the transcript, you can certainly reach out to one of the HITLAB staff that are on the call today, and we'll be happy to find any particular speakers for you and send them your way. But in wrapping up, we've had a wonderful discussion around not just the digital health influence on the final, on the final care delivery, but also a lot around health equity and also other areas in particular within the healthcare space, like cardiology and so forth as well. So it was great to hear from a lot of these different folks. Hopefully they were able to impart a lot of insights onto everybody. Just to wrap up and just to let everybody know, again, the Breakthrough Alliance Challenge applications are now open. Again, zero equity and zero fees taken by HITLAB, a great opportunity for any startups and any founders to apply to and take part in. And again, they will be presenting at the end of the summit that we have at the end of the year, from November 29th to December 1st. One of the days will be in person in New York City, so please do check that out. The details are, again, going to be in the chat. And as we wrap up, we'd like to thank all of our partners that have worked with us to get the message out there, bring the community together so that we can have these different conversations, both agreeing and disagreeing on particular topics. So of course, we'd like to thank Bill at the Global Health Innovation Fund, Medidata, Astellas, One True Health, IMC, FFF Enterprises, that's a mouthful, and Colgate-Palmolive. Of course, today was presented by Moses and Singer, who is going to continue in the next stage of our program, the post-event breakout sessions and workshop. They will be presenting there. And of course, we would not have a wonderful event like this if not thanks to the HITLAB staff that work so hard to not only bring you the content, but also the awareness around what's going on within the community. So thank you very much, Rachel, Yamina, Ansley, Raymond, Kevin, Ayana, Ramisha, Jessica, and, well, not myself, but Stan, who's unfortunately not able to be here today. It really does take a village to bring all this wonderful content and discussion and discourse to the community. And of course, thank you, the audience, for joining us. And wherever you are in the world, I'd like to say good night, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And we'll play out with the trailer for the October Symposium, Digital Health and Human Rights, which is also available for registration right now. So thank you very much for joining, and we will see you all hopefully in the breakout discussion rooms, if not next month. Thank you very much and good night.